guys, I think I'm live. Hello to Instagram, hello to Facebook, hello, shout out to the guys at King's Head Theatre for inviting me to ramble at the internet for half an hour, unchecked by any modifier. This is going to be great. Yeah, how's everyone doing? Hope everyone is surviving and that this is actually working. Let's just, 1 second. I presume it's working, it says live. Yeah, nice weather we're having. Give you guys a few minutes to tune in to what is going to be the best chat that you've had all lockdown. I apologise in advance because I do have a new kitten, who is currently asleep on the chair next to me. But I can't promise that will last for half an hour. But she's very cute, so if you do get to see her, you win a prize. Yeah, nice to see everyone. Slash not see anyone, just sort of be sat on my own talking to myself. But still, it's nice. What shall we talk about while we wait for people to arrive? I hope everyone's getting the sort of very meta lockdown vibes that this painting behind me is giving. If you know what it is, you know the feels. Yeah, surviving another week. 100 days lockdown, maybe? Yeah, all good. Yeah, I want to get started because I like to do things, but I feel I should wait until 5 past. Yeah. Oh, a few more people have arrived. I mean, I am expecting millions of people to turn up for this. Kind of my Trump rally moment where no one turns up. Hope everyone's feeling positive. I wore yellow to try and give a bit of positivity to the screen. That's literally all I can bring in positivity is a bit of yellow. No, we're very positive. Life is in lockdown, but we still continue. A few more people turning up. Hi people. Can I wave? Let's see. Oh, just waved at someone. I feel like a celebrity. Well, to those who are already here, thanks for joining. There's a number at the top that's freaking me out. Is that a timer? No, it's probably fine. But yeah, thanks for coming if you're here, and to anyone who sort of arrives in as I'm chatting. This is just meant to be a nice casual chat. I like to do sort of writer creative meetups with agents in person because I think a lot of people think that agents are this sort of scary Hollywood movie version of the job, and I think a lot of people who have agents sort of can see the other side of that and see that we're actually human beings and we're friendly and we love this industry as much as you guys do, so it's always nice to get in a room with someone and sort of talk about what you do and how it can help them. And it's very weird. It's very weird doing this without the human being there, because I really like that human connection. But we'll do what we can. Hi, Lucy. My client is watching. I'm not sure why she's here for a talk on how to get an agent. Should I be worried, Lucy? Nice to see you there. Thank you for coming and supporting. Right, what time is it now? God, 5 minutes goes very slowly when you're talking to yourself and waiting for people to arrive to alive, but who knew? I'll just click some more waves because this sounds fun. Wave. Bit of live wave. Oh shit, what have I done? Oh, I see what I've done. How do I fix that? This is why you don't wave at people. No more waving. Technological fuck-ups. Ooh, can I swear? Faults. Right, it's 3 past still. Oh, it's nice. It's nice to see, like, fuck. Sorry, I think I just got something on my foot. I really hope you can swear in this because I've sworn twice. I think I'm going to start because otherwise I'm just going to swear more. Thank you to the King's Head again for inviting me to be part of this and like reaching out to your audience in this strange time. I hope I can provide some glimmer into an industry that you either already work in or you want to get into, or you just had some questions all the way out, all the way throughout. Please ask me questions. I'm going to try and get to the bottom of this. And if I don't answer them as I go, I'll try and have a look at the end, because this is the whole thing. It's like I can sort of tell you my view of my job and what agents do, but whenever I do these, people always have really, really great questions and sort of riff off what I'm saying. So please do ask questions, and be nice, and I'll be nice and stop swearing. Right, shall we crack on? So for everyone who, yeah, it's 5 past. Hi everyone, nice to not see you but allow you to see me. Welcome to this chat about what an agent is, what an agent does, and how you get one. So yeah, howdy doody. For context, I'm Alex Cory. I am a agent at Bill & Associates. I represent writers and creatives, directors and designers across TV, theatre, film and radio. So I'm one of those agents that does the breadth rather than just specific. And the last production I saw at the King's Head was World's End, which was written by James Cory and directed by my now client Harry Mackerel. So that was the last time I was there. God knows when that was, because my perspective of time is gone. But I also particularly remember seeing a production, opera closest production of Labohem a million years ago there, and it was amazing. And like, I've always sort of loved the work that King's Head do, but that one from a million years ago sticks out, and the most recent one sticks out. So that's my main connection with the King's Head. The type of work I'm interested in is very much work that you could say is political, in that it basically holds up a mirror to the audience, to society, and says, hey, look at this issue, look at this problem, look at how are we going to change this, and sort of interact and not exist in a vacuum. Obviously there's a space for plays that can last for a long time and aren't specific to a certain moment, but those plays that really get into the nitty gritty and make you look at yourself and how you live, I find really exciting. And that can be done in so many different ways as well. It's not just, it has to be a political play and a drama. It can be done through comedy, it can be done through all sorts. So yeah, that's what I'm interested in. How I got started in the industry, I was lucky enough to go to Edinburgh University, and obviously Edinburgh has the Edinburgh Fringe every year, so basically didn't see my parents for 4 years because I never came home in the summer, worked the Fringe, worked at the university's student-run theatre, Bedlam Theatre. Shout out to Bedlam Theatre, because they really helped train a lot of artists that I know still working in the industry today, and I'm sure they're training the next generation as we speak, or maybe not as we speak because lockdown's happening, but you know what I mean. And it was at the Fringe that I crossed paths with my current colleagues, and the rest is sort of history. Like, I think my interest in promoting new writing, which I was doing at university, and like supporting people, sort of put me in the right place at the right time to discover agenting and find that it is actually really for me. So I was lucky in that. But yeah. How did I get to where I am now? I think trusting my gut and putting faith in the creatives. I have a really great list of clients who I really believe in and can get passionate about their work, and that for me is an absolute must representing anyone. You have to be able to say passionately, this is amazing, you have to come and see this play or read this script or la la la. And it makes it a joy for me to do that as well. So I think that's how I got to having such great clients, well done guys, is just letting their work speak for itself. And one of the other questions to kick this off was about, what does your day-to-day work look like? And I got so confused and lost in my memory of how to answer this, because I was like, wow, I used to get on a train, and then I used to sometimes talk to my colleagues. So I got very, very sort of reminiscent about what life used to look like. But right now, my day-to-day life as an agent is very varied. You can go from reading a script to doing notes on that script with the client, to talking about the clients to producers, to introducing them to new producers, to working on contracts, to chasing up money or working out where money's gone. Sort of every aspect of what of what you do as a creative. An agent is sort of, sorry, I'm having tech tech movement, an agent's there by your side doing it all. So yeah, it's a really sort of varied working life, which is really nice. And obviously, there used to be a lot of going to the theatre in the evenings, which always keeps things fresh. But at the minute, it's a lot of watching streams, which is great. And I hope people have managed to check out some good ones. All right, let's dive in, shall we? What is an agent? An agent is basically the intermediary person. They're someone you send into battle for you. They're someone you send up to bat on your behalf. They, as I say, reach out to people for you. So you just sort of put this person in front of you as a human shield, so that they can have difficult conversations, and you can still maintain your relationships with whomever you're working with in the room, without it getting sort of icky, sticky when you're talking about fees or disagreeing with something. So it can be really useful in that way. And I think a lot of agents share the sort of background that I came into. I mean, obviously not all of them, but a lot of them will share coming from an artsy background, like interested in it or passionate about it, really care about it, whether that be a film buff or someone who did amateur theatre growing up. Like, that is a huge part of what makes an agent, because you couldn't do this job if you didn't care so much about the art form and want to protect it and want to protect those that do it. So yeah, I think that's what an agent is. But what does an agent do? God knows. No, we do loads. So there's three main aspects to what an agent does. The first aspect is they handle the legal side of stuff. They do your contracts. They advise you on when to sort of sacrifice something if it means you gain something else. Like, they'll be with you there, sort of working through it. So and contracts can be extremely confusing and have a lot of different moving parts, that it's important to have someone who is familiar, just because of the fact that this is what we sort of read up on and come across every day. Whereas if you're off writing a play or directing a piece, you don't have the time to split your focus and get to know all the minimum terms contracts. You can, out of interest, if anyone wants to look, there are minimum terms contracts up for free to look at on the Writers Guild website. They're always there to support you. Writers Guild, again, great organisation to shout out. They will support writers and back them as well. The other aspect, the second aspect of what an agent does, is that networking side. So introducing you to the right people, knowing what you're about and who you would match with, and sort of playing matchmaker. And in the case of creatives or writers, say, who want to move from one medium, theatre, to TV, an agent becomes even more valuable, because if you've thrown all your energy into getting into theatre and then you want to move over to something, you will have no contacts, and so they can sort of bridge those gaps for you and make sure that you're still having the right conversations with the right people at the right time. And the third aspect of what an agent does for a client is that sort of support. Like, you are there at the end of the phone if anything goes wrong, even if it's something that your agent can't fix. Like, definitely personal problems get shared, and sort of you care and you support them in that way. But whether it's from dramaturgy and talking about scripts with someone, or talking through a contract, or just being at the end of the phone to offer an ear and a helping sort of word, that your agent is there for you in that way. And that's why, as we'll get into later, it's an amazing personal relationship, and you need to make sure that when you're getting in bed with an agent, it's someone that you trust and that you would feel comfortable going to when you have an issue. So yeah, those are sort of three prongs of what an agent is. And now the sort of thing that most people want to know is, how do you get an agent? And the answer is, there is no one answer. There's many, like, if you talk to any creative who's represented, they've found their agent in different ways, whether they met them in a bar because they came to see the show that you invited them to, or whatnot. So don't ever sort of feel that if you don't go down this one path, you'll never get an agent, because it's not like that. And the best way to get started, though, is to check out their websites, have a browse of their clients, have a browse of their agents if possible, and check out their submissions policy, because I think every agency has similar but slightly different things, and you want to, when you're reaching out to an agent, you want to do it in a way that you would if you were applying for a job, say. So yes, you can sort of mention that if you've met them, or say it'll be nice, but it has to be a professional approach, because it's probably going to be a first impression of you. And most agencies ask for, if you're a writer, they ask for a full-length piece of work. That can be whatever medium you're interested in being represented in. And a lot of agencies ask for CVs or a little bit about yourself so that they can get to know who you are, because this is the thing that I don't think a lot of people understand, is we don't sell work as an agent. We represent the creative for the span of their lifetime, hopefully, if things go well and the relationship is good. So, sorry, my cat meowed and it threw me off. What was I saying? Oh, check out their submissions policy and make sure you follow it. And yeah, do your research on the agencies that you're looking at, because they may have clients that you really like, and therefore you're like, oh, I'd love to sort of, they've obviously got taste that aligns with mine. And you can get a sense of what the agency will be like from their website. I feel like there's obviously ones that are very big, there's medium, there's smaller ones, and it's about what's right for you. There is no one right agency, no one right agent, and most of us are really, really nice. So do sort of check out submission policy and do submit if you are thinking about getting an agent. Oh, and the next step, say you send a piece of work, or if you're a director, send a link to something that has been recorded, that you directed, or in normal times invite to see a show. If you get a bite and someone's like, oh, I'm really interested in you, I'd like to know more, it then moves to that sort of first date stage where you go and have a coffee with them, you get a vibe with them, you sort of work out if this is someone that you like and would want to sort of start that relationship, because it's a personal relationship. You need to make sure it's right for you, and don't feel like you don't have the power in this relationship to say, actually, they may be the only agent who's bitten on the script, but I really didn't like their vibe. You don't have to get in bed with them. You can sort of wait until you find someone that really fits with you, because it just causes more pain for you if you sort of jump at an agent that you're not 100% sure about. And equally, sort of tying on to that point, shopping around, sending work to a couple of agents, and sort of meeting a few, and then you can sort of be like, oh, I like that one for this, but this one for that, and just really, really, basically, it's your personal relationship, so you need to make sure it's right for you, and yeah, do everything that you can to sort of make sure that you're making the right choice. And something else I really want to flag up is that a rejection, or so you send an invite and you don't get a reply, or you don't get taken on at that first stage, that isn't a rejection on you or your work at all. There's so many things that you need to consider that an agent has on their plate, which means they maybe couldn't take you on at that time, whether it's their own capacity, whether they have clients that either are too similar or clash, depending on how that agent manages their list. And just, yeah, timing. Like, an agent really does have to prioritize the work of and doing work for their clients. So sometimes it's just that your email fell at the wrong time. So what I'm trying to say is, don't be disheartened, and don't sort of feel that you're rejected and you don't have an agent and they didn't take you on and this now isn't for you. That's not true, and I don't think any agent who's sort of not taken someone on after an approach would ever want anyone to sort of leave the industry or feel that negatively. I just wanted to put that in context, because it's quite important, I think, to make sure that your sort of spirits are being looked after, and you're not taking a bash every time something doesn't get on. Because I say it to my clients all the time, it only takes the one yes, the right yes, whether it's from a producer or an agent or a director or whatnot. It only takes that one yes to make things happen, to make a difference, and you're going to get a lot of no's leading up to that yes, because that's just how it works. But to sort of stay strong and stay happy. I don't know where questions appear, so I can't answer them. Oh yes, I see one. Hi Florin. Do you represent theatre photographers? Do they need an agent? I personally don't represent theatre photographers. If you search for theatre creatives agency, like some agencies sort of specialise in who they represent, whether that's choreographers and movement directors. There might be a sort of photography part of that. I don't think anyone at Berlin represents photographers, but I think you probably do need an agent. I mean, that was the other thing that's brought up a thing in my head of what I probably should have said, is that don't feel as though you need an agent to legitimize who you are as a creative. You are a creative because if you're a writer and you're writing, that makes you the creative. If you're directing, you're a director. Like, you don't need to get this idea in your head that I'm only real, I'm only like legit if I've got an agent. Like, the point at which you should be looking for an agent is when you suddenly feel like you need them and you can't progress without them, whether that's, as I said earlier, moving from writing for theatre into TV, which you would be sort of lost without a helping hand to say, hey, not over there, do this, blah, blah. Or whether it's you've climbed the rung of the ladder yourself, because there's a lot of stuff that you can do on your own without an agent, like getting involved in writing projects or directing on a sort of smaller scale. There's a lot you can do on your own, but if you sort of find yourself banging your head up against the next rung and not able to get up, that's a moment where you'd feel you need an agent. Yeah, and it's definitely not like it is sort of a weird thing in the industry that people often say we don't take unsolicited submissions, so you need an agent. So I do understand why people get that in their heads, but equally, yeah, I think the most important thing you can do is get behind yourself and make sure that you know why you want to make this work, and the rest hopefully would follow suit. Do you ask questions on Instagram? I don't know, I can't see any questions, but if anyone does have any questions, let me know. Oh, Simon McDonald, is your book open right now? If not, who is looking at new work at Berlin? So we have a team who manages our submissions inbox, which is where we ask people to send submissions, so it's manageable, and that is accessible to all the agents. And it's not really a case of books ever being open or closed. I think there's certain instances where people are like, I can't take any more clients at the moment, but workflows, like you can go through extremely busy periods where you're like, I couldn't possibly take on another client, I can barely, or tech, I can barely get my work done at the best of times. And then there are moments where you think all your clients are doing well, so maybe there's a little bit less. Hang on 2 seconds, I'll just do that. Oh, no, fine, it's staying like that. Like that. Yeah, or there's times where you're just like, I couldn't not take this person on because their work so speaks to me and would fit with how I can see what I would do with it. So it's always worth reaching out to people, because you might be that person that, despite them being busy, they couldn't not represent you. And equally, remember what I said earlier about the fact that just because someone doesn't take you on at that first bite doesn't mean it's over for you. Like, you build up a sort of, people become familiar with your name. Maybe they see your first play and they're like, oh, I liked it, but at the minute I can't see what an agent would actually do for you. Because again, it's about realistic expectations of, like, agents don't wave a magic wand. We work with a creative and make sure that they're going in the right direction, and we're helping them sort of walk those next couple of steps. But so there's a legitimate reason where an agent could be like, they're great, but I can't do anything right now. But next time you've got a play on that, it's maybe, do you know what I mean? Like, you've got to keep going back and sort of saying, hey, I'm still doing this, like in a respectful way, not a, you ignored me before, or you hated me before. Like, you can sort of knock on their door again and be like, if you're looking for clients again, or I've got another show on, would you like to come see it? Would you like to read it? Blah, 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 whatever you're submitting. Okay, there's another question there. Are there certain things on the CV that stand out to you, / a certain level of experience? So we've recently changed our submission policy in that we don't ask for CVs anymore. We basically say, for writers, we obviously have to ask for CVs for directors, because there's not a great other way of being able to see what you've done and what your work is. But for writers, we don't ask for CVs anymore. We sort of reviewed that and saw that it was maybe shutting us off to certain creatives who count themselves out of the game because they're like, I'm not experienced enough, I haven't got XYZ credit. But actually, it is all about the writing, it's all about the piece of work. So I've taken on many a client, as my clients will attest, before they've ever had a credit, because they've sent in a brilliant play that blown me away, and I was like, I need to be behind this, I need to be with this, I want to be on this journey with them when we finally get them to a place where everyone else is excited by it. So I think there are loads of, like, the root of that question is, are there things that people can do to sort of progress their craft and draw the eye of the industry? Yes, there absolutely are. Whether it's getting involved in stuff like writers groups, which I know are sort of closed. There's limited numbers on them, but you can do stuff like that. The rapid responses that the Theatre 503 do. I think there's quite a few different meetup groups the Soho run. BBC Writers Room is a brilliant, like, shout out to them, brilliant resource for you if you are a screenwriter or a theatre writer. They list all the sort of opportunities across the country that you can get involved in there. And there's loads of contests, and you can read TV scripts there, which is always really useful if you're looking to go there. So yeah, there is a lot that you can do that will make you stand out. But for us specifically, we're not asking for writers for CVs anymore. I can't see other questions. Question on Instagram will appear on the screen. Oh, hi. Do you need to have had, sorry, I can't read, a theatre script performed first before an agent would be interested in the writer? Oh, I think I just answered that one, so that's a twofer. No, absolutely not. I think other agents would probably say, because of their capacity and their busyness, maybe they would want you to be a little further along and them sort of taking you, as we were talking about, from one step up to another, if that's how they see their value. But for me personally, and I know a lot of colleagues at other agencies and my own, really, why have I been logged out? I've been logged back in, I think. We put the value at especially for writers, we put the value in the play, and we say that we've got a really good eye because, as I explained about how agents sort of come through, we've been interested in the art and we've sort of been following it and reading and watching for so many years. So we say, no, you don't always have to have had a piece of work programmed before you submit. Do I have any other questions on Instagram? I think it's just loads of people there. That's cool. Let's go to this one. Right. Okay, I don't think there's any more questions. Also, it's 26 past. Oh, there's one thing that I really wanted to say, because I know this is a chat about what agents do and how you get one, but no one ever asked the question of how you become an agent, and I think that's a really, really important thing right now, given all of the conversations around Black Lives Matter and us digging into systemic racism in this country, never mind in this industry. And representation matters, and who you're represented by maybe makes you feel more empowered if it's someone who shares your background, and I totally support that. So if anyone was interested in talking more about how you get into being an agent, I think it is, again, follow your passions. You'll have a sort of drive for seeing, whether it's theatre or film or whatever you're into. You'll have already curated something about you that will mean that you have to do that. And the best way to get into it is check out the PMA's website, which is just the PMA. Put that into Google. I don't know what the end of it is, but they're the Personal Managers Association, and they will always share job openings, and it's more often than not it's going to be for a junior agent position. But that's a brilliant place. That's where I started. You get to work with clients of all different ranging levels, and sort of learn by doing and working with these fantastic people, and then you get to a point where you get to take on your own clients. So I know that's sort of off topic a bit, but I think it's a really important thing to think about. And we agents are very mysterious. No one knows how we appear. But if you'd like to know more, like, definitely email us. Email me, like, tweet me or email me or something. I'll happily, like, give you some advice. But as I say, the PMA is a great one to look out for. I think that's the end of my time, and I'm going to get kicked off again. So yeah, thank you, King's Head. Thank you everyone who joined and asked questions. I'm really sorry if I missed a question. Oh, remember everyone, there's more King's Head Online things that are happening every day at 1 p.m. And there's ones that have been on before you can go back and look at. I think we've had quite a few Berliner clients on those, so that would be fun to go look at. Yeah, that's it. Thanks for joining. I wish I could hear everyone's voices and see everyone's faces. That would be so nice. When we're out of lockdown, let's do this for real at the King's Head and buy loads of pints, which I'm sure they'll be very, very happy about. Oh, pinned comment. Do you ever do dramaturgy on a client script before submitting them? Yes, I do dramaturgy with clients if they ask me to. It's completely up to them. Sometimes they have a relationship with someone who they lean on for that and they don't need you button in. But if they want that, that's absolutely something an agent can do. And yes, I think if you think it needs, as you as the agent think it needs a polish or something to make it more likely to hit the mark with the producer you're sending it to, it's always in everyone's interest to make sure that you're sending out the best work. And I have that sort of standard where I won't send something out if I don't think it's quite there yet, because it's so important, that first impression. And also I think people have learnt to trust my taste as well, and you don't want to sort of mess with that because it takes a long time to build up. But yeah, I think that's all of the questions. But yeah, it was so nice to sort of chat to you all without. Is that another pinned question? No. Okay, I'm going to go because I'm quite hungry now, and I'm pretty sure the cat is quite hungry now because she was staring at me. I wonder if I could show you. Oh, I can't get it off. Anyway, it was lovely. Thank you, everyone. Oh, on this camera. Thank you. I'm going to